Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Legally Speaking with Rest the Case. And today we have with us Adv.Ashok Yende, whose introduction is so long that it might just take a day. But we are going to get started with a little bit information that we have. So he has over 35 years of experience in criminal mediation and consumer court. He also owns Yende Legal Associates, and he's also a mediator at Bombay HC. He has been an author for 7 books, and also his philanthropic activities include Global Vision India's foundation, through which he has helped a lot of underprivileged children for their education. And he has also participated in various international and national conferences. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ashok.
Thank you, Ankita. Yeah.
So I hope you're doing well today.
Yeah, doing well.
So today's topic of discussion for the podcast is should death penalty be abolished in India? So when we think about death penalty, it is a capital punishment. So according to the law, what it actually means?
Yeah. So as you rightly said, this death penalty is sometimes also term called as capital punishment. Actually, this is a very serious punishment which is being given by the state to criminals who are very mischievous, and state feels, government feels that it should be deterrent, and so in such rarest of rare cases, death penalty is imposed. Now, for imposing the death penalty, there are certain theories. In ancient times, you must have heard or we must have read from various resources that it was very serious, it was very cruel. That in ancient times they used to use certain weapons like that, like guillotine was there, lethal injection was there, gas. During Hitler's times, you must have heard about the gas chamber. It was very cruel.
Yeah.
In the course of time and the history, now various theories have been developed that what should be the punishment in various cases depending on the commission of the offense. Now various theories, like if you mention only few theories, there are many theories are there, like retributive theories, there are reformative theories, there are deterrent theories, there are then compensatory theories, there are preventive theories, there are the utilitarian theories are there. But 2-3 theories are important because deterrent theory says that we should treat him person treat because what he has committed the offense, so we should treat accordingly to that particular offender. Now retributive theory says that eye for eye. He has done something, so it should be just like eye for eye. That is the retributive theory. Reformative theory says that give him the chance. If certain chances given, that criminal might have committed certain offense because of certain circumstances, but give him a chance so that criminal can be reformed like that. So these are the various theories. And recently in the new laws, which has been recently passed by the Parliament in 2023, they have incorporated new theory of the community service, which was not earlier there in the IPC or which was not there earlier in any other law. So this is for the first time in India. They have imposed the theory. This fine was there, penalty was there, attachment of the property was there, simple punishment was there, rigorous punishment was there. But community service for the first time in the history, they have incorporated community service. That sometimes they let them go for the community service so that he can also be there is chances and opportunity for reformation also, and he will also do certain community service. That was the basically concept of the capital punishment. But if you want just briefly about the legislative development, legal development, I can say that initially capital punishment was the rule, death penalty was the rule, and life imprisonment was the exception. This was under section 354(3) of the Criminal Procedure Code. All these laws, CRPC, CPC, IPC, they were all drafted by the Britishers. They were of pre-independence era, which were adapted with certain modifications and the changes and the amendments. So this section 354(3) of the code provides that court must record the. In that case, it was what I mentioned, that it was a rule that there should be death penalty. But in 1955, there was an amendment. After the amendment in this particular section 354, now the provision says that if any court want to give a rigorous punishment like death penalty, then they must record the reasons why they are giving. And now, secondly, according to the various decisions given by the Supreme Court in this country and various high courts, they say that only in the rarest of the rare case you should give the death penalty. So that is the legal provision. So that means if there is a rarest of the rare case, or if you want to give the death penalty, then they must record the reasons why they want to give this death penalty or the capital punishment in a particular case. Secondly, if the death penalty is given by the district court, then it has to be confirmed by the High Court as per the law in this country. So
Hmm.
that is how the concept of the capital punishment is.
Right. So, as we know, death penalty has been a part of every country. Like
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
different laws in different countries. So, if we compare it with India, like as you said, that it's considered now for the rarest of the rare. So, if we compare it with other countries, how stringent or how lenient it is when it comes to death penalty?
So, globally speaking, various countries like Africa is there. Africa, in many
Yeah.
countries, in Africa region, I'm talking about, there many countries still maintain the death penalty. But even in the Africa, there are certain countries like Algeria is there, then Cameroon is there, where they are relaxing this particular. They have given the moratorium for this giving the death penalty. That means in many years they have not given the death penalty in particular case. But some countries in Africa, they are very serious about imposing the death penalty. You go to Asia, like country India is liberal, and what that is I just mentioned that Supreme Court says only rarest of the rare cases. But in ASEAN region,
Yeah.
particularly China, is very serious. Yeah, they might have within a year they might have given more than 1,000 executions in a particular year. But China is very serious, and China may be probably world's most active user of the death penalty provisions. And they naturally they have got their monarchy. But even in that region, you will find that Mongolia is there, Kazakhstan is there. They are slowly abolishing the death penalty. But India is very liberal, and only in rarest of the cases it is being imposed. But in Japan, it's very liberal. Japan says that normally you should not take the life of the person. That European Union, it is the union of the European countries that are called European Union. So in case of European Union, it is based on the principles of the human rights. So they said that while drafting that charter also they mentioned that there should not be death penalty. So European Union is fair of abolishing the death penalty. But whereas Russia is also very serious, and in Russia they are very serious of death penalty, and in many cases death penalty have been given and has been executed. But in countries like Iran is there, Singapore is there, Malaysia is there, Philippines is there. So in particular cases, they impose the death penalty, and particularly you must have heard about the drugs. Lot of drugs menace is there. Lot of prosecutions on narcotic drugs is there. So in these narcotic drugs cases, particularly in these countries, they are in favor of imposing the capital punishment because these offenses are of very serious nature. Yeah. But I will again mention the United Nations. They have got many conventions. Like you must have heard about the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights, and many conventions. So in all these conventions, their conventions are in favor of abolishing the capital punishment. And even some NGOs like you must have heard about the Amnesty International. Amnesty International organize the programs and the projects to create awareness among the country. They try to convince the state governments in many countries that they should abolish the death penalty. If anything serious is there, then they try to intervene. And on the intervention of the Amnesty International, in many cases, death penalties have been converted into life imprisonment. That is how the global developments are there. Yeah.
Right. So in the global context, we have a lot of variations.
Yeah.
So now that death penalty is a very wide term, like we cannot pinpoint a case where death penalty was, executed in the court. But still, what type of cases under the IPC is considered for death penalty? Like, if you can give us some examples.
So actually, what happened in India, we have to go by the decisions given by the Supreme. There are three organs are there in India. One is the legislature, like a state legislature or the parliament, who can make the law. Then executive, they can implement the law, and judiciary is to interpret the law. Now, in all these things, when there is confusion, what law should be there, what is the mandate of the constitution in this country, then naturally we have to go to the highest court of this country, how they are interpreting the various provisions. So various provisions, for some offences, there is a provision of the capital punishment. But in which particular circumstances capital punishment or the death penalty should be given, that is the question to be decided by the judiciary. Now, in some few cases, like important cases, Jagmohan Singh versus State of UP in 1973, Supreme Court says that according to Constitution Article 21, if nobody can take the life of any person, life and liberty of a person, except according to the procedure established by the law. So that is alternatively Supreme Court says that your life is taken, but it is according to the fair procedure of the law. Then we cannot intervene, and we can say that even if there is a death penalty there, then we can say it's proper. If the procedure is fair, mechanism is fair, and the law is fair like that. Another case, Rajendra Prasad also state of UP Supreme Court says that if it is justified, if proper fair and trial and everything is there. But another, some of the leading and important cases like Bachchan Singh and State of Punjab is there. Mithu versus State of Punjab 1983. In all these leading cases, Supreme Court says that in all the cases, you cannot make it mandatory that there should be death penalty. Death penalty can only be given, and this is for the first time that Supreme Court has evolved the doctrine and the principle of the rarest of the rare case. Of course, what circumstances can lead to the rarest of the rare case, that is again question to be decided in depending on the circumstances of a particular case. So rarest of case. So ultimately, the conclusion and the judicial development in this country is that only in rarest of the rare case, death penalty and the capital punishment can be given. Now, just explain more properly, more clearly. I will just mention two cases like Aruna Shanbhag case was there. She was a nurse working in KEM Hospital, Bombay. It was a case of 2011. Where a serious, in a serious grave was committed in a very brutal way, and ultimately she went into coma and all these things. Ultimately, she also requested Supreme Court that she wanted her relatives requested a nurse committee, this committee of the nurses. They said that it was very difficult to leave, and so they also sought for the permission from the euthanasia. Ultimately, permission was not given because the nurses said that we are ready to take care of that Aruna. But this was a very rare case where after the rape, actually, and a very heinous rape was there, and so it can be said to be, in my opinion, rarest of the rare case. And the rarest example can be given of the mass rape in Delhi, which happened in I think 2012. It happened in Delhi. It was a very serious case committed by the six young persons. And in four cases, Supreme Court has awarded death penalty out of six because others were minor. But four persons were convicted of death penalty. It was confirmed by the High Court, confirmed by the Supreme Court, and it was held to be rarest of the rare cases. This is how the judicial developments are in this country.
So, like already, I think death penalty, when it comes to taking a decision like that, now let me take it to a different side, is how media or mostly movies portray death penalty, where like random cases get death penalty. So, what do you have to say about that?
Now, and that's why the government has made some changes under new law, which has been recently passed by the Parliament and introduced by the Union Home Minister. Initially, some serious cases like on original Indian Penal Code. Now, this new law will come into force from 1st of July. So, original CRPC and IPC laws, there were provisions for the death penalty, like waging of the war against the government or abetting mutiny, giving a fabricated evidence so that some person is convicted, or direct and indirect abatement of sati system, any kind of ST and a ST law. Somebody has given the evidence, and that's why a particular ST person has been punished, or there is a rape below the 12 years of the person. Then in narcotic drugs acts, capital punishment was mentioned, provided under the Indian Penal Code and the CRPC. And then Unlawful Activities Act was there, 1967, the Army Act. So these were major provisions where punishment. So it is just the public opinion may be different because they don't know understand the circumstances. But these were the very serious offences. Only in case of serious offences, punishment of the death penalty was provided, not in all the cases. Now recently, this Union Minister introduced the law. In that case also, they have made certain punishment, like offences like I will just mention, this punishment of the rape which causes death. Not only rape is there, but after the rape there is a death. They have killed that particular victim. Yes, and so death penalty is there. Now it has been specifically mentioned. Initially, what happened? It was the discretion of the court to decide the rarest of the rare case, and they decide it will differ from the court to court or circumstances. And then you know that our justice system, we have to prove everything. Everything depends on the probability of the evidence. So now the specifically mentioned, like gang rape specifically mentioned in the new law, new criminal law, there will be death penalty. Killing after rape, death penalty is there. Murder, punishment of murder by life convict is there. Abatement of suicide is there. Attempt to murder is there. Terrorist acts are there. Kidnapping. So these were the offences. There was no clarity. There was no clarity under the earlier law. Now under the new law, they have specifically mentioned in all these cases, all these offences, there will be death penalty. So court will have no choice. They have to impose the death penalty in a particular case because it is very serious. So public feels that, why public feel that there should have death penalty? Sometimes what happens, the innocent may be convicted because of the unfair trial. Trial is not fair. He was a poor person. He could not bring the evidences before the court of law. He could not bring to the notice of the court certain things, and because of he could not have access to the justice delivery system. He could not engage in proper law in a particular case. So because of these constraints in Indian situation where there are poverty, there are illiteracy, there maybe political reasons sometimes, because sometimes it is politically vindicted. So these are the things where sometimes happens that if death penalty is there, then maybe innocent persons without or with unfair trial or without fair trial, they have been convicted and sent to jail. And once the death penalty is given, then what happens? There is no choice. It is wrongly given, rightly given, then a person has gone. But in case of life imprisonment, subsequently you have the choice. You can approach the higher courts or the just like there is a provision that you can apply for the pardon to the President of India, where he can then go through and apply his mind whether it was properly given or not. So that's why then there is no choice once the death penalty is given. So and secondly, why to take Mahatma Gandhi is to say why to take the life of a person. Let give him the chance to reform himself. So we don't take the life of a person. So taking the life of a person, we convict the person to when his life is taken. So state is also taking the life of a person. So Mahatma Gandhi used to say that there should not be capital punishment, and many views are there. Around 58 countries they have abolished the death penalty. In certain countries, partially capital punishment is there, death penalty there. India, country like India, there is partially death penalty is there, and sometimes I feel it is necessary because these are so heinous and brutal crimes that there is no other choice. So that that person should go. He should not be there. If he is there again, there are cases where life imprisonment is given in serious cases by the court, and after releasing that particular person, after completing the life imprisonment, there are actually cases where he has again committed the offense. So this is
so the court has to be very sure about it before they go for this death penalty. And as you said that it should not be completely abolished because there are a long list of heinous crimes that actually needs death penalty as a final verdict. So I think that's something to remember by. So now recently the Parliament had passed the Bharatiya Nyaya Sangh Bill. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
No, it is new. I have made some passing reference about that. So these new criminal laws, there were earlier laws, there was a punishment of death penalty in only 11 cases. Now this Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita we call 2023, they have made the provision of death penalty in 15 offences. So they have increased the number of offences in the particular case.
Right.
Then the offences, nature of the offences they have changed. Death is already there, imprisonment life was earlier in the law. Rigorous simple imprisonment was there, fine was there. But I just mentioned that the another punishment by way of the community service is something different. Actually, we never heard of like that. But this is something different type of service that send into the community service. So punishment through community service is a very interesting provision which have been added by the Nyaya Sanhita in this particular case. And many offences I mentioned that where punishment can be there, like death after rape is there. Rape is not only rape is there, but even that victim has been killed by a person. They said then they have special mention there should be death penalty. The court have no choice to give the death penalty. Like gang rape is there is no choice. In many cases, even earlier gang rape cases actually, only life imprisonment was given. Not death penalty was not given in many cases. So now there is no choice. So they have specifically Bharatiya Sanhita, they have specifically mentioned that in these serious cases there is no other alternative but to do the death penalty particular case. And I think they have rightly done, because otherwise there was a lot of confusion. Then one person will go from the district court to the appeal to the High Court, from appeal High Court to the Supreme Court, and it will go long because our judicial process because more much complex and the technical, and for a common person who don't have the resources, it becomes very difficult and he will be languishing in the jail by the time the decision is given by the High Court to Superior Court. So that is how
So this bill that has been presented, so how long will it take to get executed, or will it be again
executed in case of death penalty?
Sorry?
Pardon me again, please repeat the question.
I was saying that this bill was presented in the Parliament. So how long will it take to be executed?
It has been passed. The bill has been passed in the Parliament by both houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It has been received assent of the President of India, and it is coming into force from the 1st of July.
Coming to our final question, in your opinion, what do you think about the current scenario of death penalty? Is it fine? How is it, or do you think it should
Yeah,
be
yeah,
included in some other crimes, or should life
yeah.
imprisonment be implemented in those cases?
I fully agree. Not because decision is given by the Supreme Court or the directives have been given by the Supreme Court, but I agree with the reasoning given by the Supreme Court that in the rarest of rare cases only death penalty should be given, and but death penalty should not be abolished absolutely, because there are so serious and heinous crimes that there is no other alternative except that particular, because this is a question of mindset. There are many instances I may just to mention that when the person is released, again he has committed the same offense. In one case, he committed the murder. When he was released, he committed three murders. So there are many genetical and cultural problems where there is no other way but just to give the death penalty to a person so that he should not be there. He will be in the society, he will ruin the total society. He will ruin the
Hmm.
society. He will spoil the social community atmosphere. So in
Yeah.
many serious cases, there should not be any alternative, and there should be death penalty, and it may act as a deterrent in some cases. In death penalty,
Hmm.
in life imprisonment, you know that after 20 years, or after undergoing the imprisonment for a lifetime, he may come out of the prison and again he will be free like that. And even in
Yeah.
prison, he can get some of the facilities as per the law, as per the jail manual. But in case of death penalty and capital punishment, he said that no, there is no other alternative. You will not be able to enjoy even freedom. And so that I think in rarest of the rare cases, not in all the cases, if in other cases there should be life imprisonment, but in serious and rarest of the rare cases there should be capital punishment. It should not be abolished. That is what I personally think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, Advocate Ashok, I think this was a very insightful conversation with you regarding death penalty and how it is framed in India. So, I hope you also had a great time with us.
Thank you, Ankita, for asking a very wonderful questions, and it has also given me insight and to thought about all these developments, earlier developments, and the developments
Yeah.
after this new criminal laws came to force. So, thank you for giving me this an opportunity on your Raise the Care platform.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you again very soon. Until then, stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be back very soon. Thank you so much, Advocate Ashok.
Yeah, thank you, Ankita, and Raise the Case team. Yeah, thank you.